Yes, my people. So if you feel like you're not sure where to enter or you don't have the right structure to enter, you feel like you're missing out, this video is going to be for you. I'm going to show you exactly what to do when structure isn't super clear, so you need to use context to get you into the trade. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's look at the setup in general. Here we have a high, we have a nice candle close above, shifting price to a bullish bias and a low here. So we know we want to look for longs above this low and target a higher high. Now where within here can we look to take a long? Well, we have this area of demand in here as our first point of interest, and we have this area of demand in here as our second point of interest. So I'm simply looking for a long in here, or I'm looking for a long in here. It is that simple. Now we need liquidity, so we have a liquidity sweep in this area of demand here, and we have a liquidity sweep in this area of demand here, which is just the first tap that pushed price higher, the first tap that pushed price higher. So let's see what we get here. Well, price comes down and it sweeps this liquidity here. So now I drop down to a lower time frame and I look for confirmation that price indeed wants to bounce up. So let's see what we can see on the lower time frame. Let me turn off everything else, focus purely on structure. As you can see right now, we are pushing lower. I have no real evidence to tell me price wants to push higher. I don't have a protected high right now, so I can't really say, yeah, when that breaks, I'll look to take a long. We do have this bearish fair value gap, which is holding price lower, so that could be a potential. We break that, we can take a long. As you can see, this bearish fair value gap gets respected. So now I had no structure to base this frame off. I just sort of had to base it off this bearish fair value gap. Now I have structure to base it off. You can see we had this low, we closed below. We had this low, we closed below. So breaking above this protected high here with a bit of displacement, I can look to enter it in there. Let's see what we do. We respect it. Okay, we get a new protected high here. But what do? We respect this as well, and then we continue lower. So this zone got rejected with no confirmation. Now we have come into our second zone here, and you can see we have just swept the tap here. So now I can look for a long, okay, in this area here after sweeping this tap. But when we look at structure, you can see we still haven't got any confirmation until we break this high. But what is the bad thing about this high here? Well, the bad thing is if we do break this high, we're pretty much at our final target, right? I'm expecting this to be a high low that gives me a high high. I want to buy low, I want to sell high. This is buying too high. It's buying too close to our weak high over here. So what can I do? I can start to use context to see if price will give me something better. Well, first thing I can see is, okay, I want a sign that buyers are stepping in. Where can I see sellers are? Well, we can see sellers respected this bearish fair value gap. So that's my first sign. Okay, sellers are present here. I need sellers to break and buyers to come in to show me that we are ready to expand up from this zone. Because remember, according to structure, we should respect this low and we should break this high. So I'm looking for a sign that we are ready to do that. I like fair value gaps when we touch and we make a lower low, or we try to make a lower low, because that shows me sellers are present. When we just inverse something where it had no reaction, I don't really take it. So here I can see we touched, seller stepped in, and they have tried to make a lower low. Now, so this high break-in is my sign. So let's see what we have. Okay, now I am a lot more confident to take a long. Why? So we are reacting exactly where we want us to react. Perfect. We had this fair value gap, okay, that tried to push price lower. It failed to make a new low. So sellers here, right? All sellers, you can see lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This lower high failed to make a lower low. And then we stopped out all these sellers and we've got nice displacement through. As an additional confluence, this was also an SMT between ES and NQ. ES made a lower low, NQ didn't. So now this is my sign without waiting for structure, because structure is always the best, but we don't have structure in this example to above here. Not every situation is the same. Different situations are different. I'd love to use structure. In this situation, I can't because, like I said, it's too high. But now I can anticipate a change in structure. I can anticipate a move higher because I've used context. Okay, so now I can look to take an entry. I believe my entry was in this fair value gap we left behind. Stop loss at the low and target the 1 to 1.5, right? This was quite interesting because, as you can see, we waited. There we get tagged in. We came very close to SL, but as you can see, we did respect this low. We're expecting this low to give us a high high, so as long as this low gets respected, we are all good. Let's see what price does. Perfect. As you can see, price continues, hits TP and takes out this high. So now, before you're waiting on this high to break and now looking for an entry. Here, reading clues of what price is doing, most importantly in your POI, not in a random area, you can anticipate this move before it even happens. Allow yourself to still buy low instead of buying so high, and still keep that win rate high. So I hope that makes sense. These are the kind of videos I drop every day in my premium Discord, in my daily market breakdown. So if you want access to that, feel free to join via the link in the description below. And I also am doing a one-on-one mentorship where I'll work with you one-on-one until you become profitable. If you want to apply for that, link is in the description as well. Apart from that, appreciate your time as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.